Well, I'm going to get on to something here that's going to bring you some other truthful angles on things that are happening. And I know Mr. and Mrs. America voted for Mr. Donald Trump to make America great again and are very hopeful to bring back the old times again, just like this couple here on the motorcycle. But it's not going to happen. Actually, I think Trump is getting set up in some ways. Maybe he's not getting set up, but he's just going to be um, caught holding the bag. Um, I know he mentioned at one point in time when he was when he was going on the campaign trail about possibly if the markets go down in the first quarter of 2017 with a new term president, that that would be unfortunate. I you know I personally think they're keeping everything up to make sure it squarely falls in his lap, and then they could say it's his fault. You know, and there's so much other thing. There's so much going on. It's not. I always realize one person just can't freaking change everything. It's screwed up beyond belief. But anyway, here's a chart that I just want to go over real quickly. It's interbank loans from the Federal Reserve. This is a Federal Reserve chart, and what's going on? If you look on the extreme right hand side of this, you can see the major dip, which means there's a lack of lending between commercial banks, which actually means there's less funds available for private investors and people and companies that need to expand. Now, the last time, well, if you look back, it's the shaded area right here. This was in 2008, 2009. You could see that dip in there. That was September 28th, 2009. We almost had a bank shutdown at that time. And actually, I'm telling you this from somebody. Like, I worked for a CPA firm for the last 10 years, but I don't like work there all the time, just sometimes. And I don't want, and anything I say on here has nothing to do with the firm. And that's why I don't mention that in the name. Um, there's also a boutique, a brokerage investment house attached with the CPA firm. And I don't want to mention that name, but I talked to the guy who was in charge of everything in the Southeast. And this is several years ago. And he told me that they narrowly averted a major financial crisis on September 28, 2009, I believe it was, when they had an electronic run on the money markets. Now, that's why you see this major dip in here. I don't know what, that's part of it, but actually, when you're looking at this chart, you can see the interbank lending is actually putting the brakes on the commercial banks. Is actually putting the brakes on the real economy as the stock market's going up. So even during the entire Obama administration, ever since the recovery happened, quote unquote, the recovery really isn't there in the real meat and potatoes part of the economy. It's only in the markets, and we're going to look at how those things are really, they're bad news. They're not what you think they are. Everything's kind of an illusion, more or less. But now you look at this chart, and it's like nothing happened here. I mean, the banks are open. It's like, it's scary. I mean, this is not even in inflationary dollars. This is just in regular dollars. I don't know what the hell's going on here exactly. I don't know why, but this is right from the Federal Reserve, and it's an indication that commercial banks aren't lending to each other, which means there's less loans available to private enterprises to expand or startup ventures, which is bad news for the economy alone. So, I think a lot of people are kind of getting, overloaded with this garbage. It's almost like the girl here, why even try? I'm just going to lay here and sleep. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of how it is, man. Like, what are you going to do about it? I don't know. What are you going to do about it? I don't know. But it's, the reason I'm putting this out is you got to look at the nuts and bolts things of what's practical in life. So, I mean, charts mean things, and they actually affect the real economy and reality. But the other side of it is, be prepared. Part of being prepared is silver. Now, being prepared with silver is not just a financial investment, it's a medical investment. Because silver is an absolute antimicrobial, and, it can help even heal the body, but it can also disinfect everything in your house. So it's got its other places besides just being, some kind of dollar investment or something. The other thing that's going on, there's a major pension fund gap. And this actually will never occur. This is the USA. This is not the United Kingdom. It's the USA. And I do know this also from people that see. I talk to other. See, I don't just See, I get my information from real people, okay? Not bloggers, and not what somebody's, you know. Somebody told me that Peter Schiff must have been listening to me. I don't know if he is or not, but I doubt it. But I could tell you that I don't get my information from the internet mainly. It's off of I guess it's on the internet too, but it's from real people that are in the financial field. And this can't happen. What's going on in the UK? The way they fund the pensions, they got other laws. They got to be fund. They really got to be backed up. In the United States, they're backed up with loans and stock equities, which could be fluctuating and stuff. And you're looking at the liabilities and assets separation. What's going on? The pension funds are actually in trouble. They can be in trouble, and we're going to get onto a little more with that too. But it's like you really got to go back to basics, like move into the bold world of BSA. The way things were. I mean, Trump is trying to get that way again. I know that, but it's like, all they have to do is cause commodity prices to go up. Like when silver goes up, maybe gasoline prices will go up, which, boy, and food prices will go up. Oh, man, that's one way to knock out a president. Make the food prices and gasoline prices go up and make the stock market go down. He won't be reelected. Remember with George H.W. Bush? Now, I'm not a fan of his, but I thought he was a lot better than Billy the Draft Dodger Clinton, right? Remember what happened with George H.W. Bush? He was a 90% rating about not even a year before the election in 1992. It was November 1992, because Desert Storm was in 91, right? It was actually, I don't know, Desert Storm, well, it was in 1991, a year before the election. And he had a 90% approval rating. What happened to him? He lost because the economy went a little bit sour. That allowed Bill Clinton to challenge. Most of the time, the direction of the economy and the direction of the stock market will forecast who stays in office or who if the challenger wins. And I can tell you what's going on with Trump here, man. I know the powers want to get rid of him now, but they might have to wait. And here's the other thing: public pension financial time bomb. They're actually, the ratios are bad with what they actually are they're backed up by, with real assets. Most of the public pensions out there have very, very, very small funding of real, true assets. Now, if you have an implosion in the stock market, you're going to see an even greater problem that's going to occur. So we're waiting for this to happen, like old girl here sitting on a Triumph, man. Just got to chill out. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I figure it's going to happen right. Maybe it's going to happen. It's really difficult to say, because I know George Soros. He had $1 billion bet on the S&P a couple years ago, and he lost $1 billion. He was wrong. I was figuring it was going to go down back then because Soros bet that way. It wasn't just a hedge. He lost a lot of money on that. But, he makes up for it in other areas. But maybe he's still hedging that way, and he will make up more than anything he lost in the past, because this might be the all-time worst crash ever. Now, if we look at the Dow Jones, it is fair to say that this is now the most overvalued, over-bullish, and overbought stock market of all time. It's actually way worse than even the 1920s, or even the dot-com was not the most over-bullish market ever, but it was very bullish. The one that had imploded in the 2000, but the one in 1929, that was the most over-bullish before. Now it's today. You can look at this chart below. Okay, the chart above in the green line is I don't know if my voice is going over. This thing when I make these videos, like the voice and the video with the software kind of gets a little off, but you can figure it out. That's the way the software is. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, you can see it going up and all this garbage, right? Fine on the green line. But below that, you can see this other thing, the Relative Strength Index. And there's a red line that's at 70. When it goes over 70, it's overbought. And the green line below that is at 30. When it goes below 30, it's oversold. So you can see it got oversold in 2010. Now it's the most overbought market ever, so whatever. We'll see what happens, man, And the other side of it is there's a lot of credit in there. You remember, you see, if you look at investor credit, in other words, when you have red, it's like it's all pumped up credit. It's way off the chart, man. It's way more than, back in 2000 when it had a dot-com implosion. That was over here on the left side. That's that first, peak. And then, of course, you had 2007, which, we went down. Actually, the markets didn't hit their bottom, I think, till February or March of 2010. And, which means credit was going back in there, I guess. I don't know what the hell was going on. But, these charts don't exactly coincide with exactly the way the markets were going. Yeah, here it is. All right, no, I guess it was February of 2009 that it was the crash. I don't remember, to tell you the truth, man. I don't remember. I'm doing this off of memory. And but you look today, we got more credit wrapped up in the markets than anything. It's like actually going to be worse than what happened in 1929, which might lead us into a greatest depression ever. Like, Schiff used to say that. When's it going to happen? I don't know. Meantime, we're cruising along like nothing's going on, right? That's what it is, right? We think nothing's going on, blah, blah, blah. But that reality is, it's there. It's not BS. I'm going to put some other videos out about other topics and besides this, but it's not BS. I'm not fanning the flames of, fear or whatever. It's a reality, man. Sorry. So far, nothing happened. I mean, I'm not freaking, I'm not freaking out about it, Maybe it's out there on the horizon, like this guy's looking at it. It's coming at us. And, maybe I see what's coming on. But, it's been stalled and stalled and stalled. And it's interesting. I always keep thinking, what if Hillary Clinton won? She would still have inherited this mess, right? I mean, how long could they keep things pumped up? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know, man. What a freaking mess. What a mess. So, I think a lot of people don't want to hear all this bad stuff, so they're always like, I'm trying to forget. And, I'm not giving you garbage information. I'm not trying to, I don't have any funky music going in the background. It's like saying, dun, 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 dun. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that, right? I'm just telling you the facts. This is what it is. It's like nothing happened yet. Man, don't very be happy. Yeah, anyway. And, the thing that gets me, too, is like, no matter how upside down we get on debt in the United States, and, this is another subject, I guess, but U.S. federal spending on defense as a percent of GDP, it's ridiculous. I mean, they make the most money during World War II, World War I, and the war between the states, But if you look at, ever since World War II, it never really came down that much. This is as a percent of GDP. In other words, before the war between the states, you look at, we never even went over 5% of GDP. Now, so percent is very important because you don't want to look at absolute dollars, but percent of GDP. You can look at how the government was run. Every time there's a war, it's like, that's why I don't like conservatives a lot of times. Oh, the military, we got to fund the military. Yeah, that's almost another subject, man. You should see the stuff that's going on in the military today, like, Mad Dog Mattis, Mr. Chihuahua. I call him Chihuahua Mattis. He's big Madison Avenue name for the Marine Corps general. He's a joke and a half, man. These guys are all about money. And that's really what it is, fund the big machine. And this is like, we don't even need all this garbage. It's not, we can have in other words, what you really ought to do is just give everybody a freaking, like like back in Switzerland. Give them a real M16, you know? Everybody got an M16. There'll be peace on Earth, you know what I mean? And make sure they don't take any psych drugs. You'll be fine. There'll be no shootings. And, you know, then you could put this down to like 3% of the budget. You notice what happened after the war between the states? It kind of went a little bit above. You know, actually, during the war between the states, it went real high, but then it never returned to normal. Then World War I, it went way the hell up there, never returned to normal. But then World War II, and ever since World War II, we got the Cold War, the War on Terror, blah, blah, blah. This is why, this is just a way to freaking make everybody broke, you know? Everybody's working for the government today. Now, I got a little scam going here. I actually ordered a bunch of these pins. It's called the Italian Confederate pins. I'm going to start passing them around up there, try to get them up to my relatives up there in New Jersey, the Italian ones. And just as a message to Phil Murphy, the new governor, we're not putting up with your crap. We're rebelling. So anyway, and also want to put a little note out here. You know, that event that happened down there in Florida? There's a guy, he's all over the news, you know. Survivors demand action. He's over there on CNN. You can see this below that from Florida. Here's the same guy in California. Confrontation between lifeguard, body surfer. Same guy. He's a California blogger. Now all of a sudden he's in Florida. He's a spokesman for CNN. See that? Staged. Kind of like our economy. So anyway, I guess if you're going to have to kickstart the economy, you're going to have to kickstart it yourself. That's the way it works, okay? You know? That's the reality of the situation. These numbers mean things because they represent reality. There's going to be a lot less, you know, available commerce out there. Well, you know what it is. Everybody's chasing the dollar, right? You know, it's called the rat race. And there's going to be a lot less dollars out there to chase. You know, people are going to lose their jobs and things like that when this starts coming down. And also retirees are going to be in big problem. These people that are retired, like technically I guess I'm retired. No way in hell. I mean, because I got Social Security coming. But, you know, I ain't retired. No way. But, you know, these people hitting a little white ball around on the fairway, they're sunk. Going to the restaurants and what are we going to do today? We're going to go to the club and blah, blah. Where are we going to go sightseeing and go to the beach? Yeah, I ain't thinking about that garbage. I'm thinking about other things. But, you know, I prepare. And silver, I look at it like, is it an investment? Yeah, but I like silver because it's medical. You know, they showed that ionic silver actually helps the body produce stem cells in the required amounts. That was per Dr. Robert Otto Becker when he did the body. It's in the book, The Body Electric. Actually, it's not in the book exactly. He didn't figure it out till after he printed that book, but it was actually the silver, the ionic silver, that was actually helping the body produce stem cells to cause repair and regeneration. So if you have a Band-Aid and you put a little colloidal silver on it, disinfects, but it also helps the body heal where the injury was. That's why they have those silver Band-Aids. I mean, it's got a lot of uses for it. So, I mean, even if it's not, you know, because I think if everything comes down, you know, I think maybe what people might need is fuel. They'll need food. They'll need toilet paper. I don't know, something like that, right? I mean, maybe they're not going to be going, hey, a silver coin, we need that. But maybe they might if they start realizing it produces, it's something that can be produced, colloidal and ionic silver, that can have a lot of other useful benefits. Besides, hey, I got a shiny coin. And then it might actually take off because then it's a prepper thing, see? And that's why you might need it. So, anyway, that's another thing where it could be more valuable. But, you know, the word's got to get out on it, what it really is, you know? So, you know, my cat Gold Digger is here. Hi, what are you doing? Anyway, over and out. That's a quick update. I'm going to be bringing some other updates on some other things here pretty soon.